it's more than just the poverty on a physical level or tangible level. It's also mental, emotional, and spiritual, and so those have to be addressed as well, or I don't think you'll ever rise out of that place.
So in 2022 in DeKalb County, we gathered over 40 key stakeholders. And what we really did was we dug deep into the thoughts of our community stakeholders and what were our most pressing needs. One of the key findings in that work actually was the high need for mental health, which directly related to poverty in many instances.
It's one thing to be in a place where you've got anxiety or depression or some kind of mental health issues or problems or spiritual need, but it's another thing to have all of that on top of the physical need of being in a place of poverty.
And what we're really seeing is a lot of what they call dual diagnosis. So we're seeing people with substance abuse issues, but also having mental health issues. So we realized this whole mental health work was really convoluted.
When you don't have the ability to look beyond today, and you can't see tomorrow, you can't see a year down the road, your world becomes very small. Sometimes the light just gets turned off. There's no way to see. It doesn't matter which way you turn, it all looks the same. There is no hope, there's no chance, there's no possibility.
This mom lived at Fortify Home, had come to stay with us, and her last place where she lived was Speedway. And so when you think about Speedway, there's the front door, and then about 3 foot over, there's the plastic shelving that holds the windshield washer fluid, the firewood, whatever seasonal item Indiana is selling. And for this mom, that 3 foot of concrete, that's what she called home. That first is hard to process, that someone could live in that space. And, this mom and I, we were working and she was having some mental health concerns. And I said to her, I can't imagine what you must be dealing with, the judgment, the discrimination, the embarrassment of sitting there. That's a busy doorway. I mean, hundreds of people in and out of that door. And she looked at me when I made that comment and she started crying and she said, "Mitch, I wish people would have judged me." And so I looked at her and I said, you're going to have to tell me more because I don't understand. And she said, "Do you know what it's like to be invisible?" And she says, "Mitch, every time someone walked into Speedway, they saw the 3 foot of concrete. They didn't see me." She says, it's like they looked right through me. They didn't even see that I existed. And I said, "What would you have wanted?" And she said, "To be seen. Say hi, wave, smile, acknowledge." That was life-changing for me. Because we all do it. I do it. You just look forward. She didn't want my money. She didn't want anything more than good morning. How are you today? A smile. She wanted to be seen as a neighbor. When we think about solving poverty, solving homelessness, we think about these big gifts. See, how do we, money or food or building more shelters, which, yeah, all of those things need to happen. But honestly, the simplest thing we can all do is when you see the person standing at the street corner, when you see the mom sitting outside Speedway, you see the guy pull up on the moped at the gas station next to you, say hi, say good morning, ask them how they are. For them, that gesture is huge. And it's free. It doesn't cost us anything.
I think it can be like romanticized to go off to missions somewhere in Uganda or Papua New Guinea or somewhere across the world because it's this adventure. But then to walk across the street and to help your neighbor, it's a little bit more personal, and it's a little bit more like, oh, this is actually going to affect the way I view my community.
And I think that's our responsibility. That's our calling, you know, when you're not in that situation, to recognize that people are in that situation and to sit down beside them and put all your stuff away and just take the time to be able to flip that switch and get the light back on.